Warner Brothers, Rocksteady, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League are going to attempt to get players to play the game by introducing what looks to be a transgender Mrs. Freeze in their upcoming season. This is not going to work and is going to continue to see people abandon this game. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com, and here is the first look, an alleged first look at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League's upcoming new character, Mrs. Freeze, which is being accused of promoting transgenderism, and I agree with this assertion. The alleged first look was shared to the subreddit Gaming Leaks and Rumors. There you go. This is supposed to be a woman in Victoria Freeze. It looks nothing of the sort. This looks like a man. Does not look like a woman at all. Wide hips, no chest, no curves. Excuse me. Not wide hips, but the hips are almost the same as the torso, is what I want to say there. Clearly does not look like a woman at all, and I think is obviously pushing transgender ideology. I'm not alone in this. Ex-user Mega Lawyer shared the photo as well. It says, Rocksteady, the developers of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, transformed Mr. Freeze into a non-binary Karen, they, them. This is wild. In a subsequent post, Mega Lawyer added this. I predicted this before the game's release, and the backlash was intense. They perceive femininity and female anatomy as threats to society. Now they've made a character transgender. Take note of Mrs. Freeze's chest. That's not a woman. 100% agree. 100% agree. And it is likely that this is indeed the Mrs. Freeze character design. We've had teases of Freeze here in the most recent Season 1 update. We have this video here from Batman Arkham Videos. Let's take a look. Clearly an ice sound effect there. You enter into kind of an area that is kind of frozen over. There's some snow on the ground. And then you get this sign that says, ho, ho, frozen chicken bites. Obviously, kind of a reference there to Arnold Schwarzenegger's take as Mr. Freeze back in the day. And then we also have this here over on Reddit. This is a video from this user, Zeronity Plays. It's a battle against Brainiac, and he refers to this player who's playing Harley Quinn as Freeze. Let's take a listen.
I didn't expect you to be the weak link in this chain, Freeze.
So there you go. There's even some dialogue noting that a character, Freeze, is going to be showing up. We also have this user, Miller Ross, saying, was kind of reacting to this video. And he said, saw this making the rounds today. Yeah, it seems like some of Brainiac's incidental combat banter featuring Victoria got missorted and given to Harley by accident. Oops. So obviously kind of confirming that the character Victoria Freeze will be introduced into the game. That seems to be an original character for this game. And then as for the idea that they're making these female characters look like men, and it's clearly to promote transgender ideology. We had this report from a seasoned artist back in 2020 while Naughty Dog was about to release The Last of Us Part 2. This seasoned artist informed Sausage Roll that video game developers were making female characters look like men to placate adherents to transgender ideology. The artist said this: it's not really about the sexual objectification of women. Women, like men, come in all shapes and sizes. To say that having big busty women is unrealistic is untrue. This is only true for trans people. Trans women can't naturally grow large breasts, and not all trans people can afford implants. If you see a game where the women are a little less curvy, it's not because the game designers are worried about receiving backlash for sexualizing women. It's because they are worried about offending the trans community. From a design standpoint, this is a really challenging problem. I've had many board meetings about how to tackle this. Trans people want realistic representation in our games, but they feel excluded if they are represented as too masculine or too feminine. That's why you'll see a lot of designers nerfing the female form. so to speak, so that the difference between trans women and cis women is a little less noticeable. So obviously, that is what that designer is saying, that these developers are catering towards people who are clearly spiritually and mentally ill. There is no such thing as transgender. There are only men and women. You cannot go from man to woman, and a woman cannot go from woman to man. You are a man. You will always be a man, and you are either you are a woman, and you will always be a woman. That is how God made us. This idea that you can somehow switch between the two sexes is a fantasy and an impossibility. It is a rejection of reality. It is a rejection of truth, and it is a rejection of God and the way He made you. So not only do we have these comments here from this anonymous artist, anonymous developer to Sausage Roll, but we also have these comments here that YouTuber Yellow Flash made recently on a live stream earlier this year. He said this, that he said, "I was told it was done to be ambiguous, to make everybody feel okay and included. They're purposely trying to walk a line here so that they don't offend queer people. That's what I was told. Now take that with a grain of salt." So let's look at some of the data points here for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We know that this game is a massive financial failure, yet they're still doubling down on pushing this woke ideology with this design of Mrs. Freeze. We know that Warner Brothers Discovery revealed during its first quarter financial results that they took a $200 million impairment charge on the game. The company's CFO, Gunnar Wiedenfeld, said this: "Starting with studios, the $400 million plus year-over-year decline during Q1 was primarily due to the very tough comp we faced in games against the success of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter, in conjunction with the disappointing Suicide Squad release this past quarter, which we impaired, leading to a $200 million impact to EBITDA during the first quarter." Given the game is a financial loser, it's not surprising that its player base has fallen off a cliff. The game had an all-time concurrent peak of 13,459 when the game released in early February. However, by the end of the month, the concurrent peak was less than 600. You can see the chart there. Completely fell off a cliff right there. It did have a jump at the end of March 28th specifically, when it hit 3,042 concurrent players, but that was when they had the season 1 update with a playable Joker character. However, it didn't last very long. You can see it drop back down pretty quickly. Throughout much of April and May, the peak concurrent never even got over 300. Shows you how much this game has fallen. With the most recent update, it did manage to have peak concurrent barely over 500. But clearly, this game is not healthy, and players have mostly abandoned it. And I do not think the introduction of Mrs. Freeze is going to help this game at all. You might see a little bit of a bump, but it will likely not even be as high as the Joker. I would not be surprised if it does not get over 500 when they eventually do release it. That's how much people have abandoned this game. And it is good. These companies need to pay the price for promoting this evil ideology, for trying to normalize this evil ideology, and cooperating with people whose main goal, which we know Sweet Baby Inc. consulted on this game, their main goal is to push this ideology. So it's good that this game is absolutely failing, and the inclusion of this Mrs. Freeze character will not help the game. It will only hurt it. And one can only imagine how much more of an impairment charge Warner Brothers is going to have to take as this game fails to provide any significant revenue to the company. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. We also do have memberships. If you would like to join, please hit that join button. Have a number of options available for you as we continue to fight this culture war that we are in. As always, I ask that you be charitable, especially towards each other, but speak the truth.